The biomechanics of a box jump. The objective performance outcome of a box jump is to manipulate the resistance of gravity by moving the center of gravity in the body upwards. It's a plyometric exercise that can increase the maximal power output and enhance the loading mechanics for jumping movements. A box jump is a simultaneous movement that consists of an exploding motion when pushing off of the ground in the preparatory phase and pushing against the box to stand up straight in the recovery phase. Here we have a complete box jump consisting of all three phases: the preparatory, the acceleration, and the recovery phases. The beginning stance in the preparatory phase consists of parallel feet to provide a stable base of support before completing the movement. While having the arms loaded in front of the body is a preference by the person performing the movement, it's an ideal beginning stance because the arm swing that occurs in the beginning of the movement is necessary to move the center of gravity in the body. When beginning the move, the arm swings backwards as the center of gravity is brought down and slightly forward. There's flexion in the hips and the ankles as the trunk hinges forward and the knees bend. Here we can see the arms loaded in the beginning stance with the feet parallel beneath the shoulders. The arms are going to swing backwards as the athlete hinges forward at the hips to load before applying force in the acceleration phase. The center of gravity is brought down and forward as the athlete creates flexion in the ankles and the hips. The force applied to the floor through the base of support in the athlete's feet will project the body up and over the box during the acceleration phase. The muscles involved in the preparatory phase are the soleus, quadriceps, hamstrings, and the gluteus maximus and medius. This phase consists of eccentric muscle contractions as the muscles are shortened to prepare to exert force and move the body upwards off of the floor. The acceleration phase consists of concentric muscle contractions. We can see a triple extension of the knees, hips, and the ankles as the arms swing upwards to generate extra force and lift the body off of the ground. The knees are immediately lifted with rapid acceleration to bring the weight of the body as close to the center of gravity as possible, making it easier to lift the entire body up and over the box. In the acceleration phase, we can see the principle of linked segments. The speed of one segment of the body determines how much force can be applied to move the rest of the body. The quicker the arms swing, the faster the rest of the body can lift the center of gravity, and the quicker the knees are lifted, the faster the feet can be brought under the center of gravity to complete the movement. The principle of the stretch and shorten cycle is also extremely present in the movement. The principle states that more muscle force is produced when a muscle is stretched before it is shortened. We can see the arm muscles stretch as they're swung backwards before they shorten, swinging forward and upward. The quadriceps and hamstrings are shortened as the athlete hinges forward in the hips before lifting up and over the box in the stretch part of the movement. The principle of impulse direction occurs in both the preparatory and the acceleration phase. In the jumping motion to go upward, the athlete must push downwards into the floor to generate the force that allows him to jump. Here we see the center of gravity brought up and forward as the arms swing upwards, creating enough momentum to accompany the lower body muscles in lifting the athlete into the air. As soon as the arms are brought up and the feet leave the ground, the athlete quickly brings his knees upwards to bring the weight of the body as close to his center of gravity as possible. Along with creating force against the floor to lift the body up and over the box, the movement of the knees allow the feet to quickly land beneath the body in the optimal squat position. This allows the athlete to stand up straight when getting into the recovery phase. The muscles used in the acceleration phase are the gastrocnemius when the ankles extend to push the feet off of the floor, the soleus to keep the spine and hips stable, and the quadriceps and gluteus maximus when applying force into the floor and bringing the knees upwards. In the recovery phase, the landing occurs after the point of contact of the feet with the box. The athlete must have a soft landing in a stable position so that he can absorb the force that was applied during acceleration without causing strain or injury. Flexion occurs in the knees when slowly pushing to a standing position. The center of gravity finally pushes forward and returns to its original resting position as the base of support is returned to the feet underneath the shoulders. Stabilization and balance are required in the athlete to push to a standing position. This comes from landing in a correct squat position, where the toes are facing forwards and the knees are parallel as opposed to pulling inwards. Here we can see the center of gravity travel up and over the box as the feet return to a parallel position on top of the box. The strong landing position allows the athlete to efficiently and safely push to a standing position, completing the movement. A common mistake that can alter the efficiency of the movement, as well as lead to immediate injury or injury over time, is known as valgus knee. As you can see in the picture on the left, the knees are pulling inwards, causing the base of support to be uneven in the feet and placing strain on joints in the knees. This can lead to ACL damage immediately or over time. Valgus knee can occur in the preparatory phase before force is applied, as well as in the landing in the recovery phase. If the knees are pulled too far inwards, it is possible to not follow through to a complete standing position. The knees can be adjusted by strengthening the gluteus muscles, specifically focusing on hip external rotation and abduction to ensure an ideal landing position. As force is applied through the feet onto the box, the athlete is able to extend the hips and return to an upright standing position, completing the recovery phase and the movement.